Hey, welcome back to Real Talk Live, where we talk about movies, TV shows, and all the latest entertainment news. I'm your host, Krypton Cage, and I'm joined here today by my co host, the Viking, and Rokan, and Fear Jason as well.
What's going on, everyone? We've seen the Batman. We've seen the Batman after
We have.
2 years.
Yeah.
Well, probably 5 years, maybe 6 years after we thought it was going to be Ben Affleck, and then it was Robin Pattinson. But we've seen a Batman movie, and it's pretty badass. So, what did you guys? Did you guys all enjoy it? I suppose. Yeah, nobody.
I loved it.
I absolutely liked it a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of positives in the lot and absolutely, but there you go.
Yeah, for me also, I liked most of it, and obviously, I have a lot of complaints with the movie and the third act and whatnot, but we'll discuss all of that here in detail. But overall, I did like it. I didn't fully love it, like like Ben Affleck's Batman v Superman, or Zack Snyder's Justice League. That Batman instantly connected with me, and it just took me one movie to like him. That didn't happen with this Batman for me, but I see potential in this universe. I like the universe. I like the characters a lot. I like the tone, and also the cinematography also, obviously, and I like the world that was built here. So it's interesting to me. I like all of the elements. Well, not all of the elements, but most of the elements. But we'll definitely talk about everything good as well as bad, about this movie. So I will be turning on the spoiler banner right now so that we can, you know, um, get into spoilers and warn everyone. So right on top of the screen right now, there's a spoiler alert banner, which means if you haven't seen the movie yet, this is your chance to tune off, or if you don't care about spoilers or anything, go right ahead and join the chat. But we'll definitely be talking spoilers from now on.
Yeah. So will I start? I suppose.
Yes.
Since I was the last one to see the movie, so I should start.
Yes.
2 seconds. Yeah. So look, I think we all universally wanted Ben Affleck's Batman movie. I know I would have liked to have seen that movie instead of this movie, because I'm a huge Ben Affleck fan. He's my favorite Batman, all that kind of stuff. And the world that was set up back in 2016 with Batman v Superman, we were all so excited to see, oh my God, this Batman's the best ever and stuff like that. And he's brutal, he's big, and he's brilliant as Bruce Wayne and Batman. But look, we all know with Ben Affleck, he didn't want to do it anymore. So this kind of transitioned into the Matt Reeves, Robin Pattinson Batman movie. And when the rumors circulated that Ben Affleck wanted out, my pick to replace Ben Affleck was Robert Pattinson. I didn't know if it was going to be a prequel or a new standalone thing or whatever, but I wanted Robert Pattinson because when his name was circulating, I think it was Nicholas Hoult as well was circulating around that time too.
I'm so glad that didn't happen.
I had watched a lot of Pattinson's indie work post Harry Potter and post Twilight. Good Time, Last City of Z, Rover.
Cosmopolis, right?
Yeah, that's yeah, that one too.
The Lighthouse, the big one.
Yeah, the Lighthouse, the space one he did as well. What was that called? After
High Life, I
think. High Life, yeah, that one. So I was actually like, I knew he was a brilliant actor, and if you're a brilliant actor, I think you can mostly do anything in any role. So I was excited to see him. Then Matt Reeves, everyone knows my profile picture and everything is Caesar from Planet of the Apes. I love those movies, and the reason I kind of have that picture is because I went to go see War for the Planet of the Apes in theaters, and I loved the movie, but that's what kind of inspired me to start doing movie reviews and movie pages and stuff like that. So that was the kind of an image I had saved on my phone, and I had that as my profile picture. That's still my profile picture. But I was a big fan of Matt Reeves' movies. So the trailers for this were a masterpiece. The posters were a masterpiece. Everything leading up to this movie was a masterpiece. And in terms of the movie itself, is it a masterpiece? I don't quite know yet because I'm still trying to process it. I think I watched it about 7 hours ago, and I did enjoy it. It's like the most comic book, Arkham games, Telltale games, accurate Batman I think we've ever gotten. It's not in like Christopher Nolan's grounded realism world of our world. It's nothing like that whatsoever. It just feels like that's the comic book Matt Reeves has created into live action, and it's nothing like the supernatural world that Zack Snyder created. And Burton's Batman movies were very much Burton movies. You could watch Batman Returns and you know who directed that one. And Joel Schumacher, that was his vision of it. But here, I think Matt Reeves, he also had his vision, but he also took from the Arkham games, from the comic books, from the Telltale games. He got them and made a movie out of them. And I did enjoy this movie. It took a while for me to actually get used to Robert Pattinson, even though I wanted him as my Batman, because I've been around Ben Affleck the last 7 years as Batman. He is the Batman now for us, and he still kind of is. But it took me a while to actually grasp Robert Pattinson. I was thinking to myself, am I really engaged in his performance as Batman, as Bruce Wayne? Am I liking this? I don't really know. But as the movie progressed, the story got more engaging. I think it was a story more than anything that kind of sold me on the entire thing, because this big conspiracy with the Waynes, with the Carmine Falcone, or whatever, how you say it, Falcone, the Penguin, like what's going on? Why is the Riddler hunting down all these kind of rich, elite people, or these people in power? What's going on with Gotham PD? The story was so interesting for me. And then as the movie moved along, I got into Robin Pattinson as Batman more and more and more. And I got to, I think, with about maybe an hour and 20 minutes left, I was fully embraced in the world that Matt Reeves was giving us. I was loving Robin Pattinson's take on Batman and also Bruce Wayne, which I'll talk about as well. Because for me, this Bruce Wayne he's sheltered himself. He's a loner. He doesn't have relationships. You know, he's lost that kind of innocence that he would have had when he was a child because he lost his parents. And he's almost like some sort of an alien, or he's almost like somebody that has never met people. He doesn't know how to have relationships with people whatsoever. But I love him in the character as Batman, because everything is methodical, everything is thought out, every move, every word, he thinks about it before he does it, and it's done with such nuance that he feels even a tilt of his head or a word like yes or something like that. He feels it's necessary, so he tries to dictate what he's trying to do to perfection. And I was fully embracing the story. The action was awesome. But it's not the Dark Knight for me. It's not Batman v Superman. It was missing those kind of badass, cool moments, like a Joker Batman interrogation scene. It was missing the Batman warehouse scene from Batman v Superman. And this is not me going into the movie saying, I need this and this and this for it to be a great movie for me to like it. Not at all. I'm just saying it didn't have those, oh my God, what am I watching moments. Maybe the car chase for a lot of people, which Penguin and, you know, stuff like that. But I did enjoy that. I thought it was fun, but it wasn't like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing of all time in terms of Batman. But everything else around that was pretty cool, was pretty awesome. The suit looked cool. He looked big and intimidating. I loved kind of the scenes with Catwoman, with Penguin as well. Colin Farrell was fantastic in this, and I can't wait for his standalone series. He was so good. And he kind of lied. He said he was barely in the movie. He was actually in quite a bit of the movie, I thought. Maybe they added him more with the reshoots and stuff. I don't know, but John Turturro as Falcone, I thought he was very, very good, even though I had some question marks about his kind of casting, but I think he was terrific. I actually didn't see John Turturro at all, because I'm watching him on the Severance right now, and I can see that's John Turturro, but here he had the glasses on, he had this kind of the walk of him. I didn't really see him as the actor, I seen him as the character. And in terms of where does it rank, I don't know in terms of my Batman films. I don't know if I call it a masterpiece right now, because it's still kind of processing in my mind. I think I have to see this movie a few times more, which is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I felt the same after I watched, you know, a few other movies, like some of the greatest movies of all time that I loved, like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, like Blade Runner, the original. It took me a few times watches to understand what is actually going on. But I love the kind of voiceover at the start, you know, like Friday or Thursday, November 5th or whatever it is, or October 31st, him kind of talking over what he's doing. That was pretty cool. I really liked that. But yeah, for me, the highlight was the story and kind of the twists and turns. Where is this going? The Riddler and his intentions and how it relates back to Batman, him trying to crack the codes. I think it just felt so different as a Batman movie to me. It doesn't feel like any other Batman movie that I've watched. And I think that's what kind of overwhelmed me at times as well, because I've never been experienced anything like this. And like my experiences have been Burton, Schumacher, Nolan, Snyder, and there's a certain aesthetic that all those Batman movies have. And this one doesn't have anything like any of those other movies at all. It has something very unique, very different. and it was a lot darker than I thought. Very dark. And you call Zack Snyder making dark movies. I think this is way more dark than what he did in BVS, personally. And it just had this eeriness around it, just atmosphere for the nearly 3 hours that I just was overwhelmed by. And I couldn't believe this was actually happening in a Batman movie, especially over the last few years with Warner Brothers and how they've handled their universe. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a ranking for it. I don't have a score out of 10. I don't have, this is a masterpiece, this is a tragedy. I really like the movie and I can't wait to watch it again. But in terms of me describing it as something, I don't really know, guys, because I need to see it again. But I had a lot of fun with it. I enjoyed it, and it's shot beautifully. The score is fantastic. The action is done well. The characters are brilliant. The performances are brilliant. Everything is brilliant about this movie. It's just I was overwhelmed at times.
Okay, so before we go,
He froze. Are we still live?
I think they got to him after he made those comments about that. The Pattinson stands are everywhere.
Yeah. Be careful.
Before we go to YouTube, I just want Maher to address the one cameo that you forgot to talk about.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Actually,
yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, well, look.
Take it away, man.
I wasn't the first to. I was in two minds whether, because I got told this and by somebody close to Barry Keoghan's camp that he was going to be the Joker in the movie, and I was DMing KC about it and stuff like that. And I think it was some theories out there, some Reddit forums and stuff like that, but it wasn't really confirmed or gained kind of momentum or anything like that. And I was in two minds whether to break it because I didn't want to spoil it on people as well. It's a huge character, and also I admire Matt Reeves as a filmmaker, so I know he wanted to keep this as a surprise. So I didn't want to be the one to blasting it out and stuff like that. I was in two minds whether to say it or not. It was around the time Eternals came out, and then I didn't want to overshadow kind of Barry Keoghan's role in an MCU movie as well by putting this out there. So I don't know if I would have said anything, only it already broke through somebody else and they said it. But then
the very next day,
someone broke it, and I was like, oh damn, I could have been Scoopy Pants or something like that. I could have got a lot more followers. So no, but yeah, of course, people can call bullshit and say I'm lying, and I'm jumping onto it now because it broke first, and I'm saying I knew first. Okay, I don't really mind. I don't care. But yeah. So I knew that he was appearing in the movie. I knew how he was appearing in the movie. I knew he was going to be in Arkham.
You described the exact scene to me.
Yeah, he's going to be in Arkham, and he was going to have actually an exchange with Batman, which I still think happened. It's just Matt Reeves cut that because he did say a few days ago. We posted about it on Twitter that Barry Keoghan did have an earlier scene in the movie where Batman goes to visit Riddler in prison. And I think that's when Batman gets the call or Jim Gordon gets the call that Riddler wants to see you. And then he goes there and they have this exchange where we all thought that the Riddler thought he knew who Batman was, Bruce Wayne, but then we figured out that he's just trying to get at Bruce Wayne. So I think we would have got to see Batman show up to Arkham, maybe walking through the cells or whatever, and Joker's there and they have an exchange or something like that.
Apparently, Batman was gonna go to Joker to get a profiling on the Riddler.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so I knew they had an exchange at some point. I didn't know if they were in the same room like the Dark Knight, or I didn't know if he just walked past and had an exchange like that. I didn't know, but I knew they had some sort of an exchange. But it got cut. But Matt Reeves said that we will see it soon, so I'm looking forward to that. But in terms of I've seen a lot of people complaining about this scene, that it's just kind of thrown in there, it's just kind of added on. And it does seem a little bit forced because, Penguin was given so much time to as a character. He had so much to do. The Riddler had so much to do. They had a personality to them. Joker was only shown for like 5 seconds on screen. He had a voiceover for 20 seconds or whatever, talking to the Riddler. And we kind of get to see, not too much, but kind of his face looks very, very scarred as well, and from the chemicals. So it looks like he is getting that kind of origin story.
I love that.
He looked, from what I could see, it's very hard to see. It was dark enough, but he looked creepy and weird and just had that face. But I'll defend the scene. I actually like the scene because people say they don't want Joker anymore. They've had enough Joker. I said, okay, we've had enough Joker. We had him in 1989. We've had him in 2008. We've had him in 2016 with Jared Leto. Last year with Jared Leto. We had Joaquin Phoenix. We had Cameron Monaghan on Gotham. Fine. Okay, we don't need Joker. Then we don't need Batman anymore then either. Okay, let's just stop using Batman. Let's just use Kite Man. KC loves Kite Man. Let's just use Kite Man and make movies about him.
Scarecrow or something.
Yeah, use somebody else. I don't care. Stop using Batman. Stop using Joker. For me, you have to. If you're going to use Batman, you have to use Joker. It is the same side of the. It's different sides of the same coin for me. Those characters go well, and people lose their shit when they see Batman and Joker have scenes together. Zack Snyder's Justice League was a great example. The Dark Knight is hailed as maybe the greatest comic book movie of all time because of Heath Ledger's Joker. Joker 2019 won an Oscar, made $1 billion. Joker is such a huge character and he's so cemented with Batman. I think you have to use him. And I think if any of us were making a Batman movie or a live action movie or a game or an animated movie or series, we would all love to use Joker. If we were making a Batman film, we would love to use Joker. Of course, other characters as well, but it always goes back to Joker. It always goes back to the big dogs of Gotham City, and Joker is arguably the biggest dog in Gotham City for Batman. So I think he's just laying the groundwork for Batman 2 or Batman 3. And I think what we're going to see is the Rogue Gallery working together against Batman as the movies go on, because Riddler did survive this film. Paul Dano will return, I think. Colin Farrell is returning. Catwoman is returning. All these characters are returning. The Rogue Gallery is coming together. We'll get a few more characters in the second movie. I don't know if Joker's going to have a big role in the second movie or not, or the third movie, but I think it's good to lay those groundworks because word of mouth. I'm after seeing the Batman movie. It was awesome. You should go see it, that man, because look, they tease something at the end. You have to go see this Batman movie. I'm an Irish guy. Barry Keoghan is an Irish guy. This is a big thing. An Irish guy is playing the fucking Joker. This is so cool. I love this. An Irish guy is playing the Penguin. We're taking over the DC universe. It's pretty cool. So I think there's gonna be a lot of buzz around this, and I think it was. I would have done the scene. I want to see the earlier scene that they cut, because I think that could be the better scene of the two. And I wish they kept maybe that in, because there would have been more there, more personality for Joker. But I hope they release that scene cool. Yeah, I did hear about it. It's awesome. And I did like the scene, but I just want to see that other scene as well, because I think it could be more wow than that one.
We have a British Batman and an Irish Joker.
Yeah. This is asking for trouble. I'm going to be in a bar some night and I'm going to have to, fight an English guy.
Yeah, even I would I would defend that scene definitely, because look, for me that scene definitely seemed out of place, because that's kind of the way the scene starts, and the way the place where it's in the movie, it kind of seems forced, right? It's usually a scene that would be at the end of the movie, or after the credits or something. You know how in Zack Snyder's Justice League there's the epilogue, and then after that you have the Arkham scene with Lex and Deathstroke. That whole scene kind of feels like not exactly part of this movie, right? But it's still there, and it is a cool scene. So I do feel the same with this scene as well. I love the scene. I just wish that we got a little bit of a better look at his smile, or more of his face or something. But I get it; it's just a tease. But I was just happy with how he looked, because his face does look like it's kind of messed up. And one thing I've always wanted to see in Joker, in another interpretation, was that he has some sort of enhanced smile, either with prosthetics or CGI, whatever. So I just need that wide smile, which would actually be scary when he's laughing, on screen. So either you just do that with prosthetics, or you do that with CGI. Just make it, a little bit animated like that. I would love that, because most of the Joker interpretations we had so far, they just use normal lipstick and normal smiles, right? So it works, but I would also like to see one interpretation where it's a little bit enhanced. So I think we might be getting that with Barry, and I hope
something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be terrifying as well.
Yeah. So that's what makes the Joker scary for some people. Like, he can be like that. The laugh is like taking over his face almost, So I know that's a cartoony thing and it's not realistic, but none of this shit is realistic. So
Yeah. But
uh,
like, just as like to stop a sequel, it did feel kind of like thrown in there. But I don't think if you threw in Bane, if you threw in Scarecrow, I don't think it would have got the same reaction for general
yeah,
audiences as the Joker.
yeah,
Because people, just listen to people. Like it's just so funny. People were watching the movie near me, and Selena Kyle came up, Zoe Kravitz, and there was like a woman there, and there was two women there, and one of them goes, that's Catwoman. That's Catwoman. It's just like these people, like
yeah,
they're not like into it as we are in every single news
yeah,
article or trailer and stuff like that. But like with the Joker appearing, you get to see kind of a. They didn't say Joker. You get to see a small bit of his smile or whatever it is, his
he says
laugh.
clown in his
Yeah,
dialogue,
clown.
and then he laughs.
When he said clown, I could hear people on the other side of the
Yes,
theaters like, oh,
Joker, yeah,
Joker,
yeah.
and the people like that. That's if it was Bane with just big
Nobody would
muscles,
care.
I don't think they would care. No, I don't think so. So I can understand why they did this. And I think it would actually be beneficial to the movie in terms of box office and word of mouth.
Yeah, and he's obviously a young Joker now, right? And the way he was talking, it didn't seem like he was too crazy. It seemed like he kind of was normal, but he had a plan. He was manipulative. He was
Yeah,
trying to team up with Riddler and stuff like that. So it seems like this Joker might kind of be the more composed, intelligent type of Joker, and
yeah.
even as he was talking, I was just waiting for him. Please just laugh at the end. I just want to hear him
Yeah,
laugh. And he did, and I was just so happy because
because we got to see that Riddler. He's I don't mean to be mean about it, but he seems mentally ill. Like he's not all there.
yeah,
Riddler. He's very smart,
yeah,
but he's not all there. And Joker probably looks at this guy as his way out of
yeah,
Arkham, because the Joker, for me, in that scene was trying to manipulate him, try to control him.
yeah,
Don't worry, we'll get back. They love a comeback story. I think Joker's talking about himself. I think
yeah.
he tried to go up against Batman before. And it didn't quite work out for him. I think he's a lot of time to think and about what his approach would be next time. I think when he does, Batman's in for a rude awakening with this Joker.
Yeah. As soon as he started talking, I got it because firstly, obviously, I knew that he was going to be in the movie and I knew the scene and all that. But because of his voice, I could know that that was Joker. So I like that Barry's voice is not too right. We're back. Like I was saying,
Yay.
we could still hear Barry's voice in the Joker voice, and his laugh was also pretty good. So I did like his performance in whatever limited quantity we got of him. But I did like that scene, and I liked how the appearance is like the hair is straight up, and it looks kind of colored, and also his face is kind of messed up with obviously the acid, I think. But I didn't see white makeup on it. Maybe he'll do that later, but it does. I liked what I saw, basically.
Yeah, I can't wait to see more. It's hard to judge right now whether he's a great Joker or not, or his look or anything, but it's a nice tease.
Yeah, and to your point, Mar, like I agree with you that every Batman, has to have a Joker and stuff like that. And I think the disagreement with a lot of people I would have is that um, yes, Batman would need Joker in their universe, in their story, but he doesn't have to always be the main villain of the movie. And I think even you would agree with that.
Oh yeah, if he was pulling the strings in the background or just kind of
Yeah, that would
there,
be
it's still
awesome.
it's still cool. Like Penguin
Yeah,
wasn't in this movie a lot, but he had a big impact on it, and I can't wait to see more of
yeah,
his character. And he's getting his own series, so yeah, it's cool to have all these different villains. I do like at the end where I don't know if that's going to go into the sequel, but like Gotham is flooded, and
yeah.
Batman's like like I have to the crime is going to still happen and stuff like that. I wonder if that's going to be part of the sequel where the Gotham is flooded like that. That's pretty interesting. I've never seen that before.
I hope so because there is a storyline with No Man's Land, and how the
Mhm.
how different mob gangs and all that of Gotham take over different territories, and you already have Penguin here, you have the Falcones, the Maronis, and all those people. So obviously there will be, after, spoiler alert, after Falcone's death in this movie, you'll have the other people trying to take over. They did that even in the Harley Quinn show in season 2, how Gotham was divided into different territories. So I would love to see that, because I
Yeah.
like in Gotham's in Gotham, I like when all this is happening in the background. It keeps the city alive, and it's just not about Batman and just the villain. Batman also has to deal with these other things that's inside Gotham that's always happening.
And Penguin now he sees this as an opportunity. Like Gotham is in ruins right now; it's flooded. Falcone's
Absolutely.
dead. He feels like he has a chance to maybe take over Gotham City. Just for the guys getting to their review of it, did you guys? I think Wonder Woman 84 did this to me, but did you guys notice that like they had to show Batman wasn't killing like guys when he was beating them up, and sometimes like especially at the end, the guys in the harnesters were like they were falling off the thing, but they weren't. They were being caught by the cable, and like, oh, that guy's not going to fall to his dead or anything like that. At times I thought of like, Batman does beat a few guys up, and like some of them aren't going to be okay at all. I have this argument online a lot. Like, Pattinson doesn't kill. Well, he doesn't not hurt guys either. Like, them guys are going to be pretty badly hurt.
They softened it up a little bit, especially
Yeah.
like the beginning part, like when he's beating the thug up. You barely hear the punching sound. They kind of like softened it. He's
Yeah,
more
I
brutal,
felt
but he's softened it. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt that
Yeah.
big time.
I want to
Every
hear
still-
the bone crushing and everything.
Yeah, because he like Ben Affleck's one would just be like taking them out, like you just bang.
I think probably could have been like an MPAA type of thing, because they're very weird with their standards. So I think maybe they forced them to cut back on the sounds to have them keep their PG-13.
Maybe, yeah. I just would have liked to see him go full out. But he kind of did when Catwoman was getting hurt, but then they showed the criminal that he just had bad bruises on his face. The Riddler kind of doppelganger. He wasn't hurt that badly.
Yeah, I wanted blood from for Batman to like draw blood from somebody. I mean, it would have been. I think it would have hammer on the head that he's unstable, because the whole thing they bring up the movie is how unstable his Batman is. So I think him at least murdering somebody, even if he kicks him off like the precipice or whatever.
The thing I like about it more, he didn't have to beat you. He had to look at you to put fear in you.
That was good.
Yes.
I am the shadows. Yeah. Kiss, did you notice that like, not that they weren't trying to make Batman a killer, but like they kind of held him back a little bit in terms of like beating the villains, and like it showed them being okay, especially the Riddler kind of guy at the end. It showed him he got badly beat by Batman. Like he got some bad punches, but he had a few bruises on his face. Did you kind of notice that?
Yes, of course I noticed that, because we were talking about that before going into this movie as well, and that's always the topic of the week, for Batman Twitter or whatever. But I did think that it was a decision that they consciously made, because it doesn't happen just once or twice. It happens like on multiple occasions, even verbally and even visually. So I can understand the choice as well, because it's a year 2 Batman as well, and he's very new to this, so it kind of makes sense. Ben Affleck's Batman, I won't talk about the previous ones because those are just older stuff, but Ben Affleck's Batman gets criticized for this, but we have to understand that his Batman firstly was 20 years old Batman. He's jaded, he's at the end of the road, he's close to retirement and all that.
He was pushed to it as well.
Yeah, and then all the Superman shit happened, Superman Zod shit. So a lot of people died, and he was feeling powerless and all that. And the point of that movie again was that he was crossing that line, and nobody was happy about it. Like even Alfred was not supporting that, but he just had to be there, because in a way he still could kind of lecture him or keep him in line, So imagine if Alfred even left, so he would have been even worse.
Yeah.
But
when you say that as well, like I don't think this trilogy was going to be a trilogy. I don't think it works unless Pattinson is pushed to that degree
Yeah.
of will he or won't he kill, because he
Yeah.
stops Catwoman from doing it and killing her dad Falcone.
Yeah.
In the movie, he stops her, even though Falcone is probably responsible for his parents' death.
Yeah.
But this trilogy, I think, I'm not saying he has to kill. I'm not, because he does hurt people badly enough, but you can question whether like the one with Penguin, the chase sequence. There's a big massive explosion happens there. People die. People have to die in that explosion.
Yep.
So but just like in terms of him actually doing the deed, I think he needs to be pushed to that during this trilogy. But as you
Yes.
said, 30 days. We don't need to see that in the first movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And to your point, Amar, I would love to see, especially because it would make for a great scene and it would push Batman and make him a better Batman if that scene happens. Because a similar scene to that we see in Daredevil season 3, where he's confronted with Kingpin. He's on his knees. He wants him to kill him, and he just keeps hitting and then struggles with it, and then just decides to leave him, right? So a scene like that would be cool, instead of just having this stupid rule which doesn't mean anything unless you make it mean something to you personally. We know that it means something to Batman, but we don't know what it means to this Batman. So like even the Waynes getting murdered, I know people complain about it a lot, but I think that version of that scene should be in every Batman movie, I would say, because it gets us connected to that particular Batman. It's not that Ben Affleck's Wayne's dying connects me to this Bruce Wayne. So a version of this Wayne killing would be cool to connect this Batman to that incident. So
And
stuff like that.
Every time his parents are mentioned in the movie, you can see the kind of sickness in his face and just kind
Yeah.
of he just wants to it really overwhelms him and just affects him badly, like it should. But yeah, I think maybe Joker will probably push that part of Batman as the movies go on, and we'll see it. But I just felt like, oh yeah, they're doing their best here to show this person didn't die when Batman
Yeah.
kicked them and that kind of stuff. But
And there's also
yeah.
one scene in the movie where he was punching that fake Riddler guy after getting shot.
That's what I was
with the
talking about,
adrenaline.
yeah.
And then he had to be
Almost
stopped.
crossed the line.
And but then they showed him his face. It was just like a bruise here. He's alive, even though the
died.
punches were just completely just. Yeah, he died. We all know he died.
But
yeah.
again,
I mean, I was hoping it would be like an Edward Norton, Jared Leto Fight Club moment where he's just beating the fuck out of him, and you just see his face just bashed in with blood everywhere.
Yeah,
a lot of the scenes could have been
That's what it
R-rated
felt
in
like.
this movie, but
Hmm.
they just kind of pulled back. Like Mar said, it definitely feels a little bit in certain scenes that they might have pulled back. And even in the first I Am Vengeance scene, they completely cut off the guard, the thug. We
Yeah,
didn't see him at all.
no, I know.
So
Yeah, but Rokan, what's your review of the? And we should actually say to Jason, your background is awesome. It's so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome, dude.
It's pretty cool. But Rokan, what's your kind of review thoughts on the Batman?
Okay, so I was my feelings on it that I think Matt did what he said he was going to do, which was do a noir detective manhunt Batman movie. Because I remember he had said that was his intention back when he was promoting War of the Planet of the Apes, and he was saying that in interviews. And I was going like, okay, this will be great. Ben will be kind of like full detective Batman, and it'll be he'll be trying to investigate what Slade Wilson's kind of up to, similar to kind of like Arkham Origins, the video game. It'll be great. And then
reminding me of that.
I know I have to be honest. I know it's painful as it is. so I mean everything changed, and I was all up for Pattinson being Batman just after seeing him in movies like Remember Me and Cosmopolis. He's very Bruce Wayne-ish in Cosmopolis, and so I was all up for that and Matt's direction. And I think I'm exactly like Maher in that regard, where it does feel like as I was watching it, it feels like an Arkham Batman game come to life. There are so many moments in this movie that I looked at. I was kind of like, oh, I did that in the game. Like when Batman's rounding up the Riddler goons at the end of the film, I was like, oh, I you press R1 and circle and boom, there you get them, or like, things like that. Or even when Bruce Wayne is driving underneath the bridge, I was like, oh, I did. I was like, I drove that with the Batmobile. So it's clear that Matt did do his kind of like homework on that. I do agree with Maher in that regard. There's nothing in this movie that made me go, oh, holy shit, this is like, the Batman that I know. Now, granted, my Batman has always been this very mythical apparition Batman that we saw with Ben's Batman. That's why that's why I've loved the Batman stories like Death and the Maiden, Dark Knight Returns, and Arkham Asylum and Serious House on Earth, where he's like this figure that even though he's a mortal man, there's something about him that feels immortal. And I didn't feel like I got that with Pattinson's Batman. I felt like I got that detective Batman that was in like Long Halloween and Batman Eternal. So yeah. I think in that regard they kind of like succeeded because that was their intention. So I do kind of like dig that type of that type of tone and feel to it. I do kind of like I said. I mean, I do wish Pattinson had worked more on his Bruce Wayne because I said this to you guys, and I'll say this out loud. I was not a fan of his Bruce Wayne because I just felt like it was Batman without the costume. Now, Granted, I'm open to the idea of them evolving that in future movies. Like, I'm open to the idea of him, creating that Bruce Wayne, fake persona in the same way, Ben and Christian did. So I'm open to that. But everything else, and the Batmobile chase, I was never on the edge of my seat with the Batmobile chase. Like, I think it was a well shot and really cool scene, but I wasn't on the edge of my seat with it like I was with the Batmobile chase in Batman vs Superman, or even the Batmobile chase in Batman Begins. So that was kind of like my only kind of like issues with it. But everything else, I absolutely loved. I think Zoe Kravitz was incredible as Catwoman. Like, she's actually my favorite cinematic Catwoman. She's very kind of like Arkham-y. She's like a very Arkham game like Catwoman. And I love Paul Dano as the Riddler. I think he's a proper bad guy, as well as Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Like, I think I'm so excited to see what direction they go with him in the HBO Max series. So and I also think this is like the best Gotham City has looked, considering the fact they really do go out of their way to make it a shithole.
Looked like Blade Runner, I thought. The city looked like Blade Runner.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say it reminded me of Blade Runner and Dark City.
Yeah,
it gave me those types of vibes to it, which I love, and the score is awesome as well. I mean, so. Oh,
speaking of score, you had one wish come true. Remember, you asked us on the last live stream if the song will play in the movie. It did.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did, and it didn't feel out of place either. You know what I mean? It wasn't like Suicide Squad where they played Kanye West while Deadshot is shooting. Like, it felt natural to these scenes. You know what I mean?
They did use it a lot though. Something in the way. They used it a lot.
Exactly. Yeah, they did, but they did use it a lot. But I think it works better with kind of like, because I guess they really wanted to go for this Kurt Cobain influenced Batman type, and I think it works in that regard. So I do think it worked like that. But I mean, overall, I think the Batman is a damn well made movie. I'll definitely see it again in theaters, and I'll buy the 4K Blu-ray because I know it'll look great in 4K. And I say that as a big statement, considering the fact it was shot on digital cameras, and I've always been a 35mm guy, but this is a rare example of digital cinematography working for me. So I really think it's a fantastic movie. I don't think it's a masterpiece. I don't like it more than Batman Begins or Batman vs Superman, but I can still sit there and say I'm willing to still buy it on Blu-ray and watch it over again.
And you raised a good point there about like I said, there's no like particular scene that wowed me like the warehouse scene or anything like that, or Joker, Batman. But like this is Matt Reeves' first movie, and for me, he made a very good movie, but he played it simple a lot of the times. He went more for the story instead of the
I actually felt the movie was shorter.
Yeah, it could have been longer. It could have been longer.
Yeah.
But him, Zack Snyder doesn't keep it simple. He goes all out with any movie he's doing. He did the Zod neck break in a Superman movie, his first Superman movie. He goes all out in a Batman v Superman, the Martha moment. He goes all out, which you have to admire. And Matt Reeves is a great filmmaker as well, and he takes risks. Of course he does. But here, he's like, I don't know if he had this conscious decision, but it's his first movie. It's better to keep it simple than piss off audiences by making Batman kill, by, you know, doing this or doing that. You know what I mean? It's better to play it safe. And then if this movie is a hit, makes big money, he can take more risks in the sequel. He can take, he can try his new things that he wants to do.
Yeah, exactly. Because you get to, I thought that he was going to take a big risk when the explosion goes off in Wayne Manor. I thought, holy shit, they killed Alfred.
Yeah,
and,
I thought that too.
And they said, oh, he'll recover fine. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I mean, my taste, my Batman taste has always been that big mythic Batman, and this isn't the big mythic Batman. This is the detective, noir manhunt Batman. So it works for that type of style. You know,
a good example. No, it's like I always go back to Batman '89 compared to Batman Returns.
Yeah.
For me, Burton played it safe with the first one, on the studio side. First one did well, then he got more leeway, and he got to make his Batman movie, which was Batman Returns in his vein. Mm-hmm. Christopher Nolan, for me, did Batman Begins. A lot of simple beats in that as well. Nothing like major, like killing off Rachel, which they did in The Dark Knight. That's a big thing. The Joker scene, the Two-Face, him dying, Batman being the villain at the end of the movie and stuff like that. He was able to take more risks in his sequel, but then you have Zack Snyder just like, fuck it, I'll do whatever I want the first time.
The thing, Rokan, what you said about this type of Batman, right? I completely relate with that as well, and I agree with you, because even for me, Batman is this this mythic character that people don't even know what he exactly looks like, and people are still afraid of him. They question whether he's right or wrong. Some people 100% believe that he's definitely better than the police. He is a helper. Some people are vehemently against him, So some scenes in here kind of felt odd to me, where he's just walking around and everybody accepts him. And, even if some police officers are, reluctant of him being there, they're not reluctant of him existing. They're just reluctant of him being on the crime scene. So I thought that was kind of weird, where everyone's just, cool with Batman just walking around in that suit. So especially in the third act, where he's in broad daylight and helping people like Superman would do, and there's just some monologue about hope and stuff. To me, Batman, represents justice, and he gets shit done from the shadows, and he helps in that way. I kind of didn't find it, I would say this was not the type of Batman I would prefer, because he was just openly helping people, carrying children, and all that, and everyone was just seeing a hopeful protector and all that, right? And I get that, it's they're turning Batman into a hero figure, but without any controversy, and I get that. But for me, Batman is always the guy that is kind of controversial, even within the city and even within the police department. And some people like him, some people don't like him, and he always has to be the vigilante, not a hero. He has to operate from the shadows and help in that way, and solve crimes, and then just disappear without just being front and center and helping people. So that kind of felt odd to me. So I completely agree with you.
That's the only scene in the movie where I felt that Superman could exist, is when Batman is saving the woman in daylight, and then he puts her down on the ground, and she kind of holds or she touches him. I don't know why, but it felt like anytime Superman could fly down or Superman could exist in that world, because of that scene, it's like they're looking for that hope that Metropolis has, or the rest of the world has. Mm-hmm. Gotham City has never had that. Now they have that kind of godlike figure, which is Batman, and she touches him. And I don't know if you guys felt the same way with that, but then also when Batman looks at the kid who's just lost his dad, or Bruce Wayne, he looks at him as Batman. It's like he wants to talk to him, but he can't. He doesn't know how to approach the kid. Then he sees him at the funeral, the same thing. And then at the end of the movie, he's kind of progressed as a character a little bit more. He's gotten his personality that he lost, and he reaches out to the kid, and the kid reaches back out to him.
Yeah.
and the kid is the first to take his hand. I thought that was his innocence coming back a little bit, and
I think
maybe Bruce Wayne.
exactly. It was his Bruce Wayne character building up, into. So basically, throughout the movie, he was just being Batman, right? So, like Rokan said, there was no difference between Batman and Bruce Wayne, and I agree with you, and I think that was
It's the
kind of
Batman.
on purpose. Yeah, I think the movie is called The Batman, yes, but he's also
Oh, yeah.
Bruce Wayne. But like I said in the beginning, he was inseparable. The scene with the thugs just being afraid of dark alleys and stuff, that was perfection, and I thought that was cool. But then seeing at the end where he's being this hopeful hero and stuff, that kind of felt off to me. But I get what you said, Mar. Like that was probably his Bruce Wayne coming back to life, and even stuff what happened with Alfred in the hospital. That scene was also crucial to him, starting to appreciate his Bruce Wayne side, and then getting more hope for himself as well. So I do think that his Bruce Wayne will be more like that and trying to be more helpful, but that would also mean that he would be less aggressive.
Yeah, and Catwoman kind of took a bit of the anger out of him as well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
here, Jason, what was your kind of review and thoughts for the Batman movie?
I like it. It's pretty much like the Tim Burton and Christopher Nolan and Zack Snyder Batman got smashed into one. Like how it's like super dark this time. They were dark, but this is more darker.
Yeah.
And how like each character portrayed the character how they're supposed to be like. The only flaw of this movie is like how Batman's portrayed. It's kind of like Superman-ish, like the beacon of light. That kind of part didn't fit with him because he's not Superman. He's supposed to be like Batman, like all secretively. And the movie part out his more detective side of him more. Like previous Batman did the detective stuff, but this one brought out more. He goes to the crime scene, observes the area and stuff, like make sure he like picked it up. And let me see what I get.
That was pretty cool though, the detective
Yeah.
stuff.
And his gadgets like low tech and high tech all at once.
Yeah.
You get to see
cool,
his
yeah.
like take. I like the Matt Reeves take on the Bat Vision, the contact lens. It's
Yeah.
not all high tech, but you just wear a camera in his eye and walk around and stuff. The only flaw I found, and the kind it's a little flaw with Catwoman. She doesn't wear the mask the whole time. She just takes it out.
Hey, I was
Care.
I wouldn't care, but it's like I feel like everybody knows whose her identity is.
yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
much.
I mean, I'm not complaining, but
And also, like, not to be a guy and looking at girls like that, but it's a Batman movie, and it is supposed to be like PG-13 to a degree. But like, you could see through like her top and stuff like that. I don't expect to see this stuff in a Batman movie at all, especially when Batman's watching her through the window and she's getting dressed. I'm like, should we be watching this? This seems very personal and stuff. Like I don't expect that to see that in a Batman movie.
Yeah, I was completely taken aback as well in that scene, and I thought that it was the intention was that we are being told that even this dude is kind of crazy and he should not be doing this, but obviously we are even feeling uncomfortable because there was one shot where she goes into another room and we all know that she's going to change and stuff, and even then he just moves to the side and starts
Just
looking.
watch this.
Yeah, so it just
Personal space.
it just feels like they try
Yeah.
to tell us that he's kind of fucked up.
yeah, it kind of reminded me of Superman Returns when Superman's just like watching Lois as she
Yeah.
walks into her house and
Yeah.
and everything like that. It came across as very peeping
That was more
Tom-ish.
creepy.
That was more, because he has extra vision too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like some of the girls in the club, like I know girls dress up and stuff like that, but the particular girls at that club were like, I'm guessing, were there for like they're there as escorts. Some of them as well for the people that's there, especially that club. So like there's some dark stuff in this that like maybe some kids wouldn't understand what's going on to watch a Batman. Like I think it's very dark. It's a very dark movie, and I don't know if it's for all kids. Like if I was 10 or 12, I'd love to watch this movie, but like nowadays with stuff, I don't know if kids would be as innocent towards it.
It's funny. I had a talk with my friend about this, and I said maybe the movie really should have been rated R as kind of like a statement to say, this isn't for the kids, because I imagine kids are either going to be bored out of their mind because Batman's not fighting. He's just doing more detective work, or their moms are going to be shocked by the fact that Riddler's like being this sick fuck.
Dude, Riddler was scary. Like, especially the first scene where he kills, he's just standing in the dark, and then when he starts to kill, he just makes this loud voice, and then he just hits. It was so weird, dude. I watched a lot of serial killer documentaries, and that was still creepy and scary.
Yeah, clearly, Paul Dano spent a lot of his time watching episodes of Dateline.
Yeah. His character was like his character from Prisoners, only up 1,000. It's like
it meets a bit of Buffalo Bill in there too.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I'm a big villains guy, and DC. Say what you will about even kind of like the post Snyder DC films. One thing they've done well are the bad guys, and I love me a proper villain, and Riddler right here is a proper villain.
He was messed up. He was brutal, and they didn't try and give I suppose he was annoyed that Thomas Wayne died, and the whole fund. What did they call it? Start with an R. The money and stuff. They had a name for it. Like the trust fund of what this money.
The police trust fund thing or whatever.
Yeah, it was supposed to go towards the kids for this orphanage and stuff like that. And then he died. Renewal. That's it. Yeah. And then he died, and that kind of went away because then the mob started getting involved with money. Everyone thought, oh, there's a big massive pie here. I'm gonna get a slice for myself and stuff like this. And the kids were left with absolutely nothing. And the whole media and the news was about, oh, Bruce Wayne, he's an orphan now. His parents are died, but there's nothing about these kids. And that's where kind of Paul Dano's motivation came from. But I didn't feel like, even when the movie explained that to me, I don't think this is the movie trying to say, oh, this guy's he's actually a good guy. He just kind of he went in the wrong path. He's messed up and he killed these people brutally. But then I love how it shows how demented this Riddler is. He thought that he was working with Batman the entire time. He thought that he was leaving these clues for Batman. So Batman, because he even says it himself, I'm not physical. I'm not this. I'm the brains. You're the physical person here. So he was leaving him hints towards it was Falcone, it was the Penguin, it was this, it was that. And then Batman goes and he beats up these guys, and he does the beating up for the Riddler. And if you think about it, even though Batman didn't know it, he was being manipulated into beating up these guys and getting information for the Riddler and just punishing these guys.
Just like
I thought that was funny. I thought that was really funny.
It was, and I was also kind of laughing at that scene where Riddler was telling that to Batman, and he was like, "No, I was not. No, we're not the same. No, I didn't do that."
Every comic book property, they always have to have a scene where the bad guy goes, "Oh, we're not so different, you and I."
Yeah.
Riddler straight up thinks he's working with Batman.
And how funny was this movie? And even I didn't expect, we know that this movie was very dark, noir, and all that. So I never expected this movie to be this funny. But I found myself laughing, not even just, giggling and stuff. I was laughing at certain scenes, especially, in Penguin scenes. That after the Batmobile chase, they talked to him. That scene was by far the funniest scene in that movie. I was laughing.
He just popped out of nowhere.
Was great.
Everything.
The thumb drive part, I laughed pretty hard at.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is how you do Batman humor. It's dry type of humor. It's not like Batman is doing any slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
But I've always said this about DC. DC has a humor style that they should never go away from. It suits them. Marvel has their corny jokes, and it works, and people love it and stuff like that. But that's their style. And when DC has tried to kind of replicate that in any way or go away from what's their style, they've always kind of failed for me. You talk about Batman and Robin, the comedy used there, Justice League 2017. but like the DC humor has always been like subtle humor that you would say in your life. Like if you walked into a house and a person had all these cats around your feet, you would say you got a lot of cats, you know, and that's kind of funny. Batman says the exact same thing. Like the subtle humor for me is my favorite type of humor in the DC universe. You have it with Ben Affleck's Batman and Alfred in terms of like finding a woman or something like that. That's hilarious. I love that stuff. I find that stuff way more funny than the stuff in the MCU, what they do for jokes and stuff. That's just me. But DC should just stick to this humor because it suits their characters and it suits their world.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like
I
the animated
agree.
Batman.
Yeah.
The anime,
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, that type of Batman has always been kind of like the straight man, and he's the one that reacts to the more outlandish, ridiculous stuff.
Yeah,
and that's how you should be.
Yeah, and
that's how we act.
Came from certain reacting to the stuff being said as well. Like again in that Penguin scene, like Batman, the greatest detective, just mistranslated something, and Penguin is just not letting it go, and it's like no habla español.
Did you guys love how a Batman got something wrong in this movie as well?
Yeah.
And Penguin had to point it out to him.
Yeah, because I mean, it's the detective side of him that's evolving right there, you know. Yeah. So I dug that.
And in the beginning, he was shown as this perfect detective, where the police officers are just investigating the bruises on that guy, and he just straight up says what it is, based on the thing around his thumb, and he says something about that, right? So he just takes one look and he just says what happened. And both Gordon and that other officer guy, which again, he was hilarious as well, and the other guy just look at him as if, oh, he just figured it out and stuff. So after being that way, when he got something wrong, it was so funny.
I thought that cop was actually Harvey Bullock at first. I thought that dude was Harvey Bullock, and they said it was somebody else. I was like, oh, damn it.
Yeah.
And it also messed up when he was jumping off the building.
Yeah.
Hit the bridge.
That was sore.
That was all right. That's the closest to slapstick that works in Batman.
That was kind of comedic. Yeah, it was funny because the CGI wasn't quite like perfect, and it just kind of didn't look perfect. But like you got the idea of it. But he smashed pretty hard. But I would have liked to see him have like how he recovers from his injury, something I seen like that, or even if he had the masseuse into his house or something like that the next day, just see him in pain. Or even like in the next scene as Batman, he's kind of moving a little bit slowly or something like that. I would have liked to have seen that because he is human at the end of the day. He's not Superman.
Yeah, and when he was running from that GCPD and started to do the glide, we saw one shot of him just being afraid of jumping. So it kind of told me that this is probably the first time he's testing this. So it makes sense that he felt like that. The landing wasn't great.
I wasn't expecting that when how you reacted.
Yeah.
As soon as he came out the building.
Yeah. It was like, oh shit, this is too tall. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like I thought that the whole entire story was very engaging and really done well. What I'm intrigued to see if it holds up for a second viewing is does this movie have rewatch value in terms of that, because we already know the twists, the turns, the conspiracy. I wonder, as a slow movie, and there isn't many of those wow moments like we talked about, like an awesome, unbelievable fight sequence or dialogue back and forth sequence. So I am intrigued to see if it holds up for another viewing.
Yeah, I hope to rewatch it sometime next week to see if it's got that rewatch value. I do know for a fact that even when I do buy the Blu-ray, I'm not going to casually watch it. Like there's some DC films that I will casually rewatch, like Birds of Prey is one that I do casually rewatch, or even like the Batman Returns, another one I casually rewatch. This one I just know for a fact that you have to really invest yourself into, and I think that's a giant compliment to Matt in that regard.
Yeah, I was all for Pattinson's Batman, just the way he walked and talked, and even sometimes when he didn't talk, just his look and demeanor. I thought it was pretty.
It took a lot of time to start talking in the movie.
Yeah, it was pretty provoking.
Yeah, he was just looking.
We thought his reveal when he come out.
What's that?
First showed Batman coming out of the shadows.
Oh
What do you
yeah,
guys
yeah.
thought?
Oh yeah,
That was
I
I
liked it, yeah.
I like how he hears footsteps click closer and closer and closer.
Yeah.
It's like a lion that's coming out of its cage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought it
Yeah.
was going to be the 2 scenes previous to that. I thought because remember he's talking, he's the voiceover like,
Yeah.
oh, they think I'm in the shadows, but I am the
Yeah.
shadow. And then like I
Yeah.
thought he was going to step out there. Okay, no, step out here, no. And then he steps out eventually. Then with the guys in the subway.
Yeah.
When he said that, I kind of got like that's a very 1940s noir type of like quote, like they think I'm the shadows, I am the shadows.
Yeah.
It's like it's very Frank Miller Sin City-ish, actually.
And that dialogue also was written by him, so he was writing that in his journal. So
Yeah.
it's basically his dialogue. So
Mm.
obviously he would think that way, you know.
It does remind me of the kind of the recut version of the original version of Blade Runner with Harrison
Yeah.
Ford. They added the dialogue, the voiceover after Ridley Scott didn't really want it, but they added it in. Just reminded me of that because of the whole aesthetic of the city and Gotham City, and Pattinson just doing the voiceover of what day it is. And the film only takes place over like 5 days between Halloween and like November 5th or 6th. So only a few days.
A lot
Well, not
happened in
that-
a few days.
Yeah.
So not that much of a long holiday.
Yeah, it was kind of an
It's
adaptation, wasn't it? A little bit, not massively. But it was a little bit.
It takes elements from Long Halloween, and it takes elements from Batman Eternal.
Yeah, a little bit of a. I love how they wrote in the Notebook, Batman Year 2. Well, not Batman, but
Yeah.
had Year 2. It was like, so I did like that, and it was cool.
Yeah.
And did you guys? Where is Bruce Wayne? He's not in Wayne Manor, is he? It's like a tower or something. No.
I think it is Wayne Manor, but Wayne Manor's not like, the city that's next to the lake, like Bales or animated series Batman. It's more kind of like a penthouse that's in the skyline, kind of like the Osborne Manor.
Oh
Yeah.
I heard that in the prequel comic, that's the official one, that the Riddler actually burned down the Wayne Manor. So
Yeah, because wasn't I think in the comic as well, Wayne Manor and the orphanage were actually the same building, and it was a certain part of the orphanage that was just or certain part of Wayne Manor was just for the kids, and then the rest of it was like Bruce Wayne's house and the Waynes. So I think that's what happened then. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think I will be checking out that comic because there's stuff in that, and there was one scene where they showed descriptions about the Waynes, and they straight up said that Martha was in Arkham. So what do you guys think of that?
Look, Arkham Asylum, Mysterious House on Earth is one of my favorite Batman stories. I love that story so much. So I like the idea. What I like about that story does go into the history of the Arkhams, and they do that in the games too. So I like the idea that Martha is connected to the Arkham family. I like the fact that it's the Waynes, the Arkhams, and the Elliots that built this version of Gotham City.
And Jason, what did you think of Tom? We were told by Falcone that Thomas Wayne wanted to cover it up because of his to be mayor, and so it wouldn't affect his votes. What did you think of first hearing that, and then eventually found out that from Andy Serkis's Alfred that wasn't the case. He was actually just trying to protect his wife and her, kind of just her and her mental health.
I liked this point of view because they showed that Waynes are kind of flawed. How they got themselves killed in a way by protecting him in the process.
Yeah, and it doesn't tell us that it was definitely Falcone that killed them, or it was just, even as Alfred said, it could have been just some random person, junkie or just criminal on the street that did it. So who do you guys think killed the Waynes, and do you think we'll get confirmation about it in the future movies?
The guy that was at the funeral scene, I believe that's the guy who was part of his
They
killing.
did show the camera on him a bit, didn't they? Do you have a theory why that is? Do any of you guys have a theory? why they showed that guy so specific.
Because
Like,
they didn't show him again. There was like one time with a good amount of screen time with him. Then
Yeah.
he disappeared.
I'd
I
like
feel
to
like
think
he's-
that either he did kill the Waynes or I do think that he is part of like a Court of Owls type of thing where he's like the face of this evil in the shadows.
Are
know
you,
what I
are you
mean?
guys talking about
kind
the
of like-
guy that Bruce talks to?
Yeah,
at the funeral, yeah.
at the funeral, yeah. Kind of like the gentleman in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, where he's like this face of this super duper evil organization.
Yeah, but I heard, I heard that guy was the same guy that in the Riddler costume that Batman was punching, and he said, "I'm ready."
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah, that could make sense. I liked how Riddler had like a social media following, and he was posting all these
Live
stuff,
stream.
and he has
And they were-
500
Twitch
followers.
streamer.
I just want to say I may be the only person, but did you guys get QAnon vibes from Riddler's following and everything
Yeah.
like that?
yeah.
I,
And they were
I found that so
sending
funny.
hearts and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Talking about killing.
I'm
I'm live to all my followers.
Look, I'll just say this. This movie was shot in the spring of 2020. I wouldn't be surprised if Matt had taken elements from current events and added it to the script.
Yeah, and like we didn't get to see Batman and Superman. Remember the set photo that was leaked like last year?
Yeah.
Remember the Halloween party?
Oh yeah.
I don't know why that is. It could be in the extended cut because Matt Reeves did say there's like a 4-hour version that we probably will get to see, which is awesome. Can't wait to watch that. And a few deleted scenes. So I wonder, is it in the deleted scenes, or maybe he thought, if I put this in, this is opening up an entire box for me where Warner Brothers could put pressure on me saying, look, Superman exists in this world. You sure you don't want to reference him here or Metropolis or something like that? Because I think he does want to keep this as an enclosed story. But I could see Warner Brothers putting their nose in somewhere and saying, oh, we're making a Superman movie and it will exist in the same universe as Pattinson's movie. You know, I could see that happening. From them, not from Reeves, but from them.
Yeah,
I thought it was just a move just to throw people off or to get people talking too.
it was Halloween
for a
too.
long time. Yeah, because I mean, for a long time, people were assuming this was a Batfleck prequel movie.
Yeah.
Until Matt came in and said that it has nothing to do with it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Matt just put it in there as a way to kind of like, as a way to kind of fuck with, fuck with people on.
Just like he did
online.
with Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah.
They got
That's
it.
like a bait and switch right there.
They got it.
Why did they do that? I was like, oh, it's gonna be her. No, it's not her.
Matt Reeves is a troll.
But remember we heard stuff that there was going to be a lot of depictions about Robert Pattinson's Batman's mental health, and he takes medication.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any signs of that in the movie. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm guessing, or I'm wondering, did they reshoot a lot of that stuff and take a lot of the stuff out that did show him having mental health problems? And maybe in that scene, this is just me theorizing, he actually thought he saw Zoe Kravitz, Selena Kyle in that scene, but it actually wasn't her. He was kind of imagining it. I just wonder that because we did hear that he was like on medication, but we never got to see any of that whatsoever, and he did have mental health problems.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably they'll cut it out if that's
Probably,
if that was an issue. Yeah, that's a good point.
So, but it's on HBO Max in like 43 days. Not that long to go, actually. That's pretty cool. But Matt Reeves does want to release the 4-hour cut. Would you guys be interested in seeing that?
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. I'd watch
You think it's
that.
gonna be rated R?
Yes.
Could be rated R. Could be, yeah.
Yes.
I don't think it will be because he already said that the movie was from the get-go. It was intentionally made to be PG-13, and it wasn't the Batman v Superman situation where it was made as an R-rated movie and then cut to theatrical PG-13 movie. Matt Reeves said that it was from the start. It was PG-13. So I don't know if they would.
That is true, but to counter that, I will say Justice League was intended as a PG-13 movie too, and when we got it, it was rated R.
Was it though?
But we did. We
I mean,
we did. Yeah. reach around.
That's
You know, so.
Yeah, reach around. Not to mention you see Amazonians getting cut to pieces.
No, I mean, was it intended to be PG-13 at first? It's Zack
I
Snyder.
think
we're
it.
talking about.
I think it was. I think it was intended to be PG-13, and considering the fact that it was the big theatrical release, and Zack was trying to abide by that, but then when he wanted to go back and do he was like, you know what? I'll have Batman say more F-bombs. I'll do the reach around joke, and we'll have Amazonians get cut to pieces.
Yeah.
But like, you could make a film from PG-13 to R-rated in post-production just by adding blood and sound effects and stuff like that. So isn't that tough, really? Because the Wonder Woman sequence at the start of Justice League, like she's smashing them against the walls and stuff, and you see blood splatter. So like, that's how you get to make it into it.
Yeah. There's one scene in the movie where Gordon says to Batman, "Is that his blood?" And they never showed anything. And I was like, "Where? What are you talking about? Show us."
Yeah.
It show like a dark blood or something.
Yeah.
Like black and that blood.
I was just watching Burton's movies, and he has blood in most of his scenes near the end with Jack Nicholson's Joker and stuff like that. But do you guys have this is tough for me. Do you guys have a favorite scene?
I do. The Batmobile scene definitely is by far the favorite one, because from the start to the end, it's just perfection. From the place it starts, the engine starts revving and the whole chase starts from there. There's Penguin in the scene. The whole time, the whole scene is also shot very good. The music is pretty good. And it also ends at that bridge with the Penguin thing. Gordon and Batman being the worst cursed detective and talking to him. That, and then Penguin just hopping around like a penguin, actually exiting the scene. So I thought the whole sequence was perfect, and that was the highest point for me in the movie. And definitely that scene. And even in the Penguin again, you guys make a great duet. You should start harmonizing. That whole scene was amazing.
Jason, do you have a favorite scene?
The Batman's Batmobile reveal and Commissioner Gordon get knocked out.
Oh yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah,
that was funny because at the roof, because you couldn't hold your punch, and Batman's like, "I did." That was funny. Rock on.
For me, it was always the Catwoman undercover scene. Because to me, it reminded me of Mission Impossible with the contact lens like that. So I liked it, and I kind of like seeing how Selena Kyle is a woman who can do so many like sides of her in order, so that's how it always is in the comic book. So I like that I got to see her do that in the scene. That, and also the bomb detonation scene, by the way. Bomb detonation scene was intense.
Oh yeah.
That was good, actually.
He waited till the last second until he reacted. Like, dude, what are you doing?
I was thinking the movie's over. Then he was talking. Then the bomb planning scene started happening. I thought the movie's over by that time. Then the surprise happened with the bomb stuff. I wasn't expecting that to come up like that.
Oh no, I meant the bomb detonation in the funeral. At the funeral.
Oh, that part.
Yeah. That was intense. That was good. And they had to figure out the riddles in 3 riddles in 2 minutes. And Batman was helping them.
It's very Jigsaw like. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Jason, I didn't think that scene.
Hours.
What's that?
Riddler was calling him for hours.
Yeah, just kept brilliant.
I didn't recognize that was Peter Sarsgaard.
I didn't either. Yeah.
It took me a while to figure out it was him.
Yeah, it had so many good actors, but they weren't in the movie like a lot. Like you had like John Turturro, Colin Farrell, like they weren't in the movie a lot, but they had good substantial scenes and stuff like that. So, what do you think of the chemistry between Zoe Kravitz and Robin Pattinson?
They were pretty good.
It's
like the chemistry was like there, not forced. It's like naturally came together.
I thought she was trying to
Batman maybe.
So you could cut that sexual tension with a knife. It was hot.
Yeah, I thought it was her trying to force him more than him because he doesn't have the skills to do it. Like he has no
He
experience at all.
clearly was interested though from the
He was
start.
interested, but he didn't know what to do. So you just
Yeah.
let her do everything.
I mean, it makes sense to me why he'd be interested in Catwoman. But
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And also like the cat scene that you brought up, Mar, maybe that was just him flirting. Like at that point he was like, "Oh, now I'm going. I should say something nice," and he got out of cat.
Yeah.
I actually can relate to Batman in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we don't have a cowl and a cape to hide our
Embarrassment.
Our
embarrassment and
our shitty flirting. Yeah.
yeah. So we can't jump off a roof and look cool. But, yeah.
I mean, I jumped off a roof when I was a kid, and I did not look cool. I can say that.
Damn.
It was a low roof, so I didn't hurt myself that much.
Yeah.
I had a trampoline, so I could jump really high. I thought I was jumping really high.
What's your favorite
Yeah.
scene though?
I don't know. I don't know. If I was watching The Dark Knight, it would have been like the interrogation scene. If I was watching Batman Returns, it would have been, the fight sequence with all the goons in the street. If it was Batman v Superman, it's the nightmare sequence. Here, I don't know. I didn't have one of those scenes for me. I just liked the story. I just really liked the whole conspiracy of it all. I was like figuring out what's going on, the riddles. How is the mob, the DA, what are they doing in Penguin's Club, all that kind of stuff. I just liked the entire story of it. Just the movie. The movie was my favorite scene. I didn't really have a particular one. I suppose I thought like shit's getting real when like they find out where Riddler's apartment is and he's been right beside him the entire time, which kind of gave me phone boot vibes. With actually, that's Colin Farrell, isn't it? He was in that movie? Or was that,
Colin Farrell was in Phone Booth. Yeah.
Yeah, it gave me kind of those vibes because like he's like if you haven't seen the movie, he's in a phone booth and like they're in like Manhattan or something like that, and the guy is basically right beside them in a window, but they don't know. And like Riddler is there the entire time watching them and just planning everything from his little apartment, and then like he escapes and he just goes down to the coffee shop and he's there like having a latte or whatever, and he makes a riddle and I'm like, what the fuck's this guy at? And then he gets kind of captured, and then like Batman goes to visit him, and like that whole sequence then where Batman goes back to his apartment and realizes that there's bombs everywhere, and like Riddler has like a fan page on Facebook. That's when shit kind of got real for me, and that's when the stakes felt a little bit more weight to them. But some people complain about the third act. I like the third act, but like it didn't have that like what's the video game term, like we have a big villain, boss villain, is that it?
The boss fight.
Boss fight.
Yeah, it didn't really have a boss fight. It just had these Riddler goons who were like were a threat, but weren't really a threat to Batman, really. And
It's like a mission from the Arkham games.
yeah, it's like one of those. It didn't really have like somebody like to affect him that much, even though he did get concussed and did kind of get hurt a little bit.
That would have been fine too. Like you said, it was just random Riddler thugs, right? So defeating them would have been fine, but we don't really get the conclusion to that because we know that there could be more. So how did he actually stop and think that this was already done?
Yeah.
It's not just 20 people on his followers list that came. Maybe there were more. And how do we know that it's not concluded?
I guess you could say. Yeah, exactly. I guess you could say that like the big thing with the third act is the race against time for the bombs to go off. It's kind of like I mean, in fairness though, like I guess he's gone. He ate my rebuttal. I was actually going to say something very, very good about Dark Knight actually on that front. I was going to say like when you look at the climax of the Dark Knight, it's actually similar in that Batman is taking out Joker's goons in the race against time to stop the bomb.
Like in every Nolan movie.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Nolan's movie don't have villains. He only has one villain in every movie. It's time. But yeah, I do see your point, and I think Yes, that was kind of open like that because it's Gotham. It never ends. It keeps going, and in sequels that would probably be another problem as well. And Riddler obviously is not finished. He's just locked up for now. Um, but yeah, I do find that kind of unsatisfactory personally because it didn't feel like a conclusion for this movie, and especially at the last scene, I thought was it's a good scene, but I didn't like it as an ending scene because I thought that scene was just starting a new chapter and beginning to get into a more you know cooler conclusion to the movie, but it just was him writing and this just ended. I thought that was very abrupt. I
Kind of
don't
want to
know.
like the Dark Knight ending, like right
Yeah,
to
it,
the
it kind of
yeah.
was like that, but at least in that there was kind of a narration, and it was setting up that yes, this is now him. He's going to be now Batmaning, from now on. And the shot was kind of, we were locked in, but he was just moving away from the screen and then going into the light. So that kind of had a meaning. This just kind of ended in the middle of a ride. I felt. I don't know.
It's just turned bike and just
The quarter run
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Could have been something. You could have had a cool like cinema shot, like from the back
Yeah.
of him going off the bike. Now maybe it was got to do with COVID. They couldn't shoot stuff with COVID.
Did you
I don't know because the movie was impacted by COVID a good bit.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you guys feel that? Did you guys remember that scene when the first set video that we saw, and the stuntman Rick English fell down while riding that bike? Did you guys remember that when that scene played?
Yeah,
It-
I was waiting.
it-
I was waiting for him to fall down, or Catwoman would stop him, or something like that. Instead, I guess it was just. I guess it was just the guy. I guess the stuntman was having a bad day at the office.
And I remember that was the first thing that ever came out from this movie.
Yeah, and I love those shots because they're behind the scenes. We see them like as behind the scenes shots. And
Yeah.
I love how they make it into like a cinematic scene or shot then when we actually get to see it in the movie. And we got to see a few of those with like Toby and Andrew when those set leaks happened, or we're seeing them now with Michael Keaton on the set of Batgirl and stuff. When we actually see the movie, it will look a lot better, and like it'd be cool to see how they turn it cinematic. But yeah, the ending probably was weak. It probably could have had a bigger ending to it, I would say, setting up the sequel a little bit more. Joker and Riddler was cool, but yeah, it could have had like a really cool ending to say, wow, can't wait to watch the next one. Kind of reminded me of Dune a little bit. I like Dune the movie, but the ending it ended in the middle, and I don't know, I'm not eagerly waiting to see part two. Like if the ending was bigger and stuff like that. And I think for general audiences as well, if you want to see a part two, like give them something. Because The Dark Knight has one of the best endings where Batman's on the run, the cops are chasing him, he's on his Batmobile, wherever it is, or his bike, and the score is just kicking in, and then it goes to back, and the score is still going. You're pumped. Oh my god, this is pretty badass. This is awesome. Can't wait to watch the next movie. And yeah.
I would argue also Batman Begins had even the better ending than Dark Knight because Batman's given the city hope and he's going to be its protector. Then Gordon says, somebody wants to look for you. And it's a Joker card and going, oh my god, putting Joker in the sequel.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, they should have had something like that or something. Yeah.
There's a part of me that thinks, how do you think it would have ended if they switched the scenes around from Batman, Catwoman to then Riddler and Joker?
I think that
would make
would work better.
Yeah.
The black screen, and all you hear is Joker's laughter.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was just thinking.
That would have been perfect.
Yeah. But I guess he didn't want to set up Joker as the main villain for the next movie. So that kind of would have alluded to that, or too similar to what Nolan did. But yeah, I would have definitely loved it because, I'm right on board on the Barry Keoghan train from the beginning. So I loved that scene.
Yeah, the only worry I do have with bringing Barry Keoghan as a Joker is the fact that I don't want it to be Batman and Joker's first time meeting each other again. Because I feel like, we've had that with the Burton Batman, we've had that with the Nolan Batman. I want them to do, like, the cool thing about Leto and Ben's, Batman and Joker thing was that it was 20 years of history.
Yeah.
So I want them to go for a different approach with the Rob and Barry's Batman and Joker.
Yeah.
And Kyogen is like he's not like he's a small enough guy as well, so I don't see him being a physical threat towards Batman that much. More of a mental threat, even more than Riddler. Like Riddler was kind of trying to figure out these riddles and stuff like this and this big conspiracy. Joker's the type that will fuck with you mentally and really affect you that way. So I'm intrigued to see that, definitely. And I want to see Kyogen's look, and I'm actually intrigued to see the scene that they cut from earlier in the movie, because I think that could have been the better scene of two if they actually get to have Batman and Joker have words together. Like, I don't know why you cut that. That would have been just pretty cool to see, I think.
Maybe that would have taken the audience out a little bit from the movie, because Joker is that Joker being in the middle of that kind of a movie would have taken away something from that movie, because a lot of people would just focus, oh shit, that was a Joker, I wonder how he would be and all that, maybe
criticize it more.
Exactly. Like case in point, like I remember when I used to watch Arrow, they had the Suicide Squad episode, and you see the little Harley Quinn cameo, and that part felt so distracting from the whole thing, because all you're thinking about is, holy shit, Harley Quinn's in this world. So I think maybe putting that scene in the middle when Batman is trying to get information of the Joker from the Riddler, it could have really come across as a very made for TV cameo type of scene, as opposed to the scene we get at the end, which you're like, okay, they're setting up a bigger universe with Batman.
Yeah. Speaking of the CW, just to jump over there for a second, but they just cast no, because this is perfect. This is the best casting ever. They just cast Booster Gold for Legends of Tomorrow, and it's Rokan, you probably know the name. They got actor Donald from Scrubs.
Donald Faison.
He is Booster Gold. That's the best casting ever.
I actually think Turk from Scrubs wouldn't make a bad Booster Gold. He's got that comic timing, and he's also great in Kick-Ass too.
Did you see the scene? No,
I didn't. I didn't, man. So you have to send it to me.
Yeah, it's on Twitter there and stuff. He's in Legends of Tomorrow now as Booster Gold, and he's hilarious. So it's
really?
All right, then they better bring Zach Braff in so they can go Eagle.
Yes. Yeah, just have this is jumping in over to a different stream, but Zach Braff and him together as Booster Gold and as what's the other Blue Beetle, is that his partner? No, or is it?
Yeah, Blue Beetle's his partner. Yeah,
so they have them two in just their own show. That's I want to watch that.
I watch that.
But
shows, actually, are you guys looking forward to the Batman spin-off shows?
Is there 3 or 2?
Penguin 2, I think.
And one I think Matt Reeves talked about, which is the Arkham show.
Yeah. So Penguin. Yeah. So Penguin, I'm looking forward to, because I think Colin Farrell did an awesome job as the Penguin. That I can't wait. I'm curious to see where they're going to go. If they're going to follow up with, Cobblepot's ascension to being the owner of the city, or if they're going to go for an origin story type of thing. I'm open to either. After watching this, and I said this the day it got announced, I'll say it again, I could give 2 shits about a GCPD show. I just, especially when Matt says, oh, it's about a corrupt cop. I'm thinking to myself I don't care if it's it's a world with Batman. I want to see Batman. I don't want to see the cleanup crew.
Because we're hearing rumors that it's actually more about Arkham Asylum. You know why I think it's called Gotham PD? I think they'll probably get a lot of blowback and a lot of shit if they called it, if they made a show about the mentally ill from Arkham Asylum, kind of way. So I think maybe that's why they don't have the name Arkham Asylum. They actually have it called Gotham PD, where they'll actually focus on more of the criminals and patients there.
Apparently, there are 2 different ones.
Is it 2 different shows?
Yeah, the Gotham is
that's the confusion.
Gotham show.
That's the confusion I'm seeing.
Yeah, so the other one I think is gonna be Arkham based, and it's not officially confirmed, but I think Matt Reeves was talking about another show that's gonna be Arkham based. So, and that Arkham based show could possibly explore Joker. So that's also interesting. But to me, definitely, I agree with you, Rogan. I am totally on board with the Penguin. At first, I wasn't, because I don't much care for, a separate individual villain show, especially not just a movie. To so I wasn't interested back then, but now after seeing the movie, he's just my favorite character from the movie, even over Batman and everyone else. Like, so I'm definitely hyped for his show, and I agree with you. It could be a prequel. I would love that as well. How he built the Iceberg Lounge and all the operations over there, and even if it's set after the Batman, how he takes over Gotham or his own territory or stuff like that. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Just him talking, in that funny way and all that. That would be awesome. And maybe you
Yeah,
can have
like-
Catwoman in there as well.
Did you
Yeah,
see Colin Farrell said it could be R-rated?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
did, and that I hope so. You know what I mean? These are violent criminals. You gotta do that. You gotta take advantage of that.
And yeah,
So-
GCPD, I'm not interested much because I loved Gotham, and that was Gordon focused, right?
Yeah.
Even though
Yeah.
it had a lot of Batman criminals and all that, I don't think this one will have that much. And I don't. They didn't say that Gordon is the main character in the show, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I could see Jeffrey Wright doing it because he did show up and do What If for Marvel, and
Yeah,
I could see him. He seems like a really cool guy that really loves the universe and loves the character. So I could see him popping up in that. Be cool to see Batman pop up for an episode too, something like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be cool, but you would still think to yourself, I'd rather see Batman.
Yeah, where's Batman? Bring me back to Batman.
Exactly. To me, it's like how it was with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Remember they showed Nick Fury in like one of the first episodes. I was kind of going like, I'd rather see Nick Fury right here instead of these guys.
And you will later this year in Invasion.
Exactly. So
Invasion.
that's how it is. Anyways, guys, I gotta go right now. Actually, I gotta go. I gotta go see Kevin Hart in about an hour and a half. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
So yeah,
Enjoy,
but yeah, thank you. So I'll just I'm gonna leave early, but I'll just give, like, if we're gonna go for like a rating thing, we'll just say Batman. I'd give an 8 out of 10.
cool.
Very good.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to rewatching again. But all right, well, take care, guys, and take care, everyone, and I'll see you guys on the next talk.
Sure, man. Thanks for joining. It was
Later,
fun.
dude.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
All right. So where? Should we do rankings now or something? I don't do score.
Did we discuss the Batman suit? Oh no.
Yeah, we can talk about that. I didn't find it as annoying as I was during marketing stuff. I thought it worked well for this world. I still felt like the side profile of the Batman is kind of weird because it's so open until here, and he's just walking around. Literally everyone in the movie saw him face to face. No one recognizes him. It was kind of just feels weird to me that it's so wide open. And I know his jawline is great and all that, but that's exactly why you don't show that from the cowl. So I feel like he just needs a little bit 2-finger difference, to close off that. But apart from that, I did like the suit. It was pretty good. It worked for the movie and it looked great on him. And the collar and everything, I found it was pretty fine.
I like the suit and everything, but the suit took way too much hit for what is it?
Yeah.
Like too many shots. It should be breaking by the end of the movie. And
Yeah.
you get to see the practical part of the Bat logo that comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did he use
Usually
that
all
for?
the Batman's like one. He
Use
just
that
opened
for
the
cutting a rope.
yeah. It's just there for emergency.
I just toss it back in there. The suit. I thought it was. I don't know if he was wearing like heels because Pattinson looked bigger than everybody else in the movie.
He
just
is
looked
tall.
big. Yeah, and like
Actually,
he's a tall guy. Yeah, so he did look big. And like he's not the most muscular in terms of like Christian Bale and Batman Begins or Affleck, but for me, like you don't even have to be that much because the suits do a lot of talking for you. And I think the suit was intimidating. It was big, and he looked good in it. I had no problem with the suit whatsoever. He did get a lot of shots, a lot of gunshots in the movie. He got shot a lot of times, but that's why I would have liked to have seen him recovering or talking about the damage the suit is getting with Alfred or repairing it and stuff like that. Those are some stuff that we didn't get, where we actually got a lot of that in the Dark Knight trilogy, where Alfred is sewing Bruce Wayne up, the injuries. You also have it in Batman v Superman, where even Zack Snyder's Justice League, where Alfred is working on some of the technology to make it better, the voice modulator and stuff like that. So, I would have liked to see that more side of Batman, how he creates his gadgets, because it never really explained that at all. He just had this stuff. Where did he get it? How did he learn? Like what way is it working? Just like even one small scene just to kind of show that side of it would have been cool. But yeah, the suit was
flashback in this movie, by the way.
What's that?
There was not a single flashback scene, by the way.
No, we just kind of got pictures of Riddler and just pictures of them. The cape reminds me of the Scream.
Yeah.
Suit. It's kind of torn at the bottom or something. We never really got a full kind of proper look at the bat suit, and it's not that bright either. Like Ben Affleck's really pops out, but yeah, it's probably not my favorite suit, but it's probably, I don't know. It's not like I think Keaton's is pretty cool because of the yellow backdrop, and the bat's symbol really pops. I like that. And then Ben Affleck's one's the big massive bat symbol. It's really cool. Christian Bale's, I like his actually like his Dark Knight one because it's slim and I just think it's really tactical and it's cool. This one is kind of similar to that in a way, but it's not my favorite Batman suit.
Yeah.
Just imagine the Dark Knight suit.
What's that?
Sorry, but just imagine the Dark Knight suit was on this Batman. He probably get killed in a minute. Getting shot up front.
Yeah. And I think with the thing is, in this movie, I feel like Matt Reeves has a very easy task to make a very better movie the second time. I think Batman 2 can be easily better than this one. You have a more established role already, so he doesn't have to spend time on that. He can delve into flashbacks more, and he can, upgrade the suit, upgrade his tech and all that. So I think the second movie could be way better easily.
He didn't make Rise of the Planet of the Apes, but he came for the sequel.
Yes,
which already had all the groundwork, the characters laid out for him to just make his own movie, and that was probably the best of the trilogy. So yeah, definitely he put out a lot. He did a lot of world building in this one, big time. He's introduced Riddler, Penguin, Falcone, Catwoman, Joker, Arkham Asylum, Gotham PD, the conspiracies, the shadiness of the police department and the mobsters, what's the mayor as well. There's so much there to revisit in the second movie. So yeah, I think the second one could have the potential to be even better.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so are we done with everything we have to talk about this movie, or do we have something?
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy. Anything you want to talk about, Jason?
I'm pretty good. I think we covered pretty much all the stuff down there.
We talked about a lot, but we'll probably do a show in the next few days of news. Probably a lot of news to catch up on, and we'll obviously do another discussion about the Batman spoilers discussion as well. To add on to that, because I'm sure there'll be more stuff that comes out in the next few days, interviews, stuff that people online on Twitter spot that we haven't spotted or rewatches if we watch the movie. So we'll definitely talk about it again when we talk about the Batman.
Hopefully they announce the sequel.
Yeah, I think they will definitely announce a sequel on Monday.
Oh yeah, maybe it's good. What's the box office opening domestically supposed to be? 120 plus?
No, it's 55 for opening day, but globally I think it's 110 or something.
So what's the domestic weekend estimates that they have? Do they have any yet?
They're saying that the domestic opening weekend could go around 125 or something.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And then worldwide, I could say it'll probably do similar or just maybe 10 or 15 less worldwide, maybe then. So it could have an over 200 million worldwide taken. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be. And
considering the budget
wait for that.
The budget was, yeah, the budget was 200 million. They say because of COVID, it was supposed to be one, and it doesn't look like an expensive movie because there's a lot of dialogue, there's a lot of talking, there's a lot of stuff that happens in one room. You know what I mean? Like, there's
other locations.
Yeah, so it's not massive. Like it doesn't look like a massive budget of a movie. So
Yeah.
hopefully it doesn't take much for them to make profit. If you had to make a box office prediction right now, where do you think the movie ends in its box office run?
Oh, maybe around 800. I'm not sure if it would even reach that as of right now. But I'll have to see, for until the next weekend how it's performing and the percentage of drops and how fast it's, selling out and stuff. But as of right now, I feel like it would be, close to 800 or less than that.
Jason?
I'm not sure yet to speak on it.
It's hard to guess.
Yeah,
Like
hopefully it
what I
goes up.
would say, yeah, what are you gonna say?
Like the money for it, like more. It's pretty sure it's gonna go high up over the weekend. Like we'll see about the result on Monday, probably.
Yeah, like the thing is, I think the Batman has a lot going against it that No Way Home didn't have. Like No Way Home still isn't available on digital. It still isn't available a HD copy on. I know it kind of leaked there in HDR or something like that, but for a while there, the only place you could watch it was in the cinema. And word of mouth about Toby, about Venom, about Andrew, and like Sony didn't reveal they're in the movie only until a few weeks ago. The Batman, as we talked about, doesn't have that wow, oh my god type moments that would get word of mouth. And it's the type of story that I don't know personally. Yeah, I have to go rewatch it. I don't know if it has rewatch value because it's a conspiracy thriller story where what we know what the ending is, we know what the twists and turns is. Will we be as engaged as we were when we originally watched it? I don't know. I can't speak on that until I watch it again. But I think that's where a lot of people might not return because there isn't much rewatch in it. So like I will have to see over the next few weeks with that as well. But also the movie's hitting HBO Max in 44 days, 43 days, and a HD copy will be available online all around the world. So it's going to get pirated big time. So that means people are not going to go to the theaters to watch the movie, and especially now with everything that's going on in the world, I'm guessing the Ukraine cinemas aren't open right now. What's going on? Russia is not getting the movie, so those people will have to pirate or I know there's bigger things than movies, but you know what I mean? Around the world, some locations might not be open and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's going to hit 800 million or 900 million or a billion. If I was to guess right now, I'm going to say north of 600 million, maybe around 700 million right now. I'm just kind of going to guess because there's a lot going against it. And it doesn't have that, like, the biggest kind of word of mouth thing would be Joker, maybe that's only for a few seconds. Like that's what I just don't think I don't know. I wanted to do well, but I don't know if it's the type of movie that's going to have that rewatch value. Maybe I'll be wrong. I hope I am.
Yeah, but I can totally see that. Like you bring up a great point about rewatch because uh, all this box office money mostly comes from rewatch when people, take their friends, take their family, friends of friends, and stuff like that. So that's a good point. Firstly, it's a long movie, and secondly, I don't feel like this has a rewatch value, especially not for me. I'm not gonna watch it again in the theater. I'll wait for the HBO Max version. I do like the vibe of the movie, so a lot of people might love spending time there because of the sound and the music, for sure. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Joker made a billion.
Yeah.
That was already. And Joker to me, Joker, Batman, my favorite characters. But there was good music in Joker as well. It was fun at times. It was cool seeing this transition. You were kind of rooting for Arthur Fleck at times because of what he was going through, and that made a billion. So, and that had great word of mouth of it as well. But this movie is very dark, very very dark. It doesn't have too many bright moments in terms of the scenery or anything like that. So yeah, but it's Batman, and people love Batman, and Robin Pattinson's got a big fan base from Twilight, and there's a lot of sex appeal with Zoe Kravitz and Robin Pattinson. They're using that in the marketing a lot as well, so that might be beneficial to them. So it's very hard for me to gauge whether this movie can go past 500 million or not. We'll just have to see over the next few weeks because it's hard because of the story. If it was a John Wick type Batman movie, I'd be like, oh, people are definitely going to go back to watch this because it's so much fun because of the action.
Yep.
But the action is like, oh, that's a cool scene. 45 minutes of dialogue. Oh, that's a cool scene. That kind of way. So it's hard.
Yeah. So yeah, that was it for today's stream. Let's wrap this up. Jason, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter, FearJason96. If you want to watch me play games, you can go on Twitch. Go FearJason96 there.
Awesome. And where can they find you, Mar?
Yeah, movies that matter on all social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And tomorrow I'll probably do a spoilers discussion of the Batman on my channel as well. If you want more of my thoughts about it, go check it out tomorrow.
Awesome. And you can find me at Krypton Cage on all social media. And you can also follow us at The Real Talk Live on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can subscribe here as well. And yeah, make sure to check out our shorts as well.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say if you want to follow us on TikTok and Instagram, new trailers go up there straight away, or TV spots and stuff like that, or kind of like I Am Legend 2 was announced there yesterday, so I did a quick 60-second breakdown of that. I put it on TikTok, did pretty well. Put it on the YouTube channel here, did pretty well. So it's kind of like 60 minutes news segments for you guys, because sometimes we might not have a show for a week or two, so we can't talk about it. Then it kind of goes past and out of everyone's radar. So at least with the shorts, I can just literally record it in 60 seconds and post it. It's pretty easy, and people seem to like it. So yeah, keep an eye out for those, for any trending news topics.
Yeah. All right, then. Until next weekend, goodbye and take care, and happy Batmaning.